Hello everyone, welcome. Professor Lees here. So in this video, I want to walk you through this activity that is designed to help you think more consciously about your essay's structure, the organization of your essay. So as I've been reading through your drafts, reading your feedback letters, and even some questions I've received, some of you are perplexed by how to create a structure for your essay if we're not relying on the 5-paragraph essay structure. And that's a good question. You know, we may have been really used to that method, and when we're no longer relying on that, oh my gosh, well, what do we do? How do we approach this? So this activity is designed to help you impose a more effective structure and organization to your essay. So let me go ahead and read through this and I'll explain as I go. Now that we have a draft of our essays, we can begin to think more deliberately about how we've structured these writing projects. In order to determine the effectiveness of our structure and organization, we will complete the following activity, which contains 2 parts. Each part has a written reflection of at least 250 words. So combined, there'll be 500 words between the 2 parts. So part 1, structure after the fact. So in order to complete this activity, you're going to need a set of index cards. Or if you don't have index cards available, you can use Post-it notes. Or if you don't have Post-it notes, you could just get a sheet or 2 of notebook paper and cut out a bunch of cards. But you're going to need to some form of card in order to complete this activity. So get a set of index cards or Post-it notes or cut out pieces of paper. For each section of your draft, create an index card with a word, phrase, or sentence that clearly indicates what that section of your draft is. And so you're going to want to try to be more specific than just saying, oh, intro. Point 1, point 2, point 3. We want to avoid that, being general like that. We want to be a little bit more specific so we know, okay, that's that idea that I'm exploring. But you don't need to be any more specific than just putting a single word or phrase or a sentence that you yourself is going to understand. Okay, so this isn't necessarily meant for other people to understand. You need to know, okay, that card is that part of my essay. Okay, so you're going to do that for every section that you have in your draft currently. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to read through that draft and go through and identify each of the points or sections that you include. And for each of those points or sections, you're going to create an index card that has a word, phrase, or sentence that lets you know what that card is or what that section is. So once you have those cards created, you're going to need to get another set of cards. And for every section of your draft that you still need to compose, you're going to also create an index card with a word, phrase, or sentence that clearly indicates what that section will be. So because these are still drafts of our essays, we're still not done. There's still more work to be done, still more ideas to expand, details to include, points to extrapolate, all kinds of stuff. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to kind of think, okay, what do you still need to include in your essay? So you're going to create a card for each of those points that you still need to include in your draft. So once you have both of those decks of cards, a deck of cards for all the sections that you currently have in your draft, and then a deck of cards for all the sections that you plan to include in your draft as you continue working on it, you're going to combine both of those decks, and then you're going to arrange the cards just on a surface like your desk or on your bedroom floor or something. You're going to arrange the cards in the best structure that you think works best for your essay. Okay, so you're going to have both the parts that you already have in your draft, and then you're going to have the parts that you plan to have in your draft, but they're going to be intermingled. Okay, now for this, I'm going to encourage you all to try to bust loose from the organization that perhaps you began your essay with or that you currently have in your draft. Maybe play around with an alternative, a different method for it. But because you're going to be including the cards for all the sections that you still need to include in your draft, it's going to look different than your essay structure for the draft that you have. So once you've created that arrangement, take a picture of it, okay? So you're gonna wanna snap a picture of it with your phone or device, take a picture, and then you're going to compose a reflection of at least 250 words that explains why you chose this particular arrangement. So explain, why did you choose to organize your points in this fashion? Both the ones that you already have explored and then the ones that you still plan to explore. Why have you arranged them in this way? What have you learned about your essay's organization by completing this first arrangement? And we want to try to be specific, so really, explain, why did you put this point before the one that comes after, or vice versa? Why did this point come after that one? What's the connection there? Why do you still need to talk about that idea? What's the connection there? How is this connected to your thesis? All these different things. You're going to really look at that organization of all your cards. Okay, so you have that picture for part 1 with your reflection of at least 250 words. So that's part 1 complete. Part 2 is entitled Playing with Alternatives. So what you're going to do with part 2 is you're going to then shuffle up your deck of index cards. So make sure you got to take a picture of it before you do this. So shuffle up your cards and then create a completely different organizational scheme. What happens if you move your last card to the beginning, for example? What if you mix up the initial order of some of your body paragraphs? I really encourage you all to have fun with this, to mess things up, be silly with your organization, kind of figure out alternatives, look at it in a different way. So once you have that new arrangement, you'll go ahead and take a picture of that organizational scheme. So remember, you want to take a picture of it. Then you'll go ahead and shuffle your deck of cards again, and you'll rearrange them for a third organizational scheme. So again, play around, have fun with the structure, see if you can mess it up, just kind of free yourself from any of the imposed structure that you think your essay needs to have. You're basically playing around, you're having some fun here. So you're going to take a picture of that third arrangement. So in total, you're going to have 3 photos of 3 different arrangements. So that first one's from part 1, and then you have the 2 new ones from part 2. What you're going to do with this reflection, you're going to write a reflection of at least 250 words that compares all 3 of your organizational schemes. What are the merits or virtues of each arrangement? So look at each one of the arrangements. What are the positives of arrangement 1? Okay, what are the positives of arrangement 2, and then the positives of arrangement 3? And kind of look to see what are the merits and virtues of each of those. What are the drawbacks? So again, what are the drawbacks with each of these 3 arrangements? And what have you learned about your project's organization by comparing all 3 of these arrangements? What will you ultimately decide, and why do you think this will be the best organization for your project? So you might choose ultimately to approach organizing your actual essay with maybe some combined elements of these 3 different organizational schemes. But ultimately, you're going to want to say, okay, this is probably going to be the best structure that I can set out for myself, and then go from there. Okay, so when you're ready to post, you're going to be sure to embed all 3 of your photos using the images icon. So do not just attach it as a separate file. So just as we did with with the student introduction discussion post near the beginning of the semester, we want to make sure that we embed the picture right in the post, so none of us needs to download any of these files in order to view them. We just want them to appear in the post. So you'll go ahead and click the reply button. And this is the attachment button that I'm talking about. This is what I don't want you to use. So don't just attach it like with the paperclip icon. No, instead go up into your toolbox and then you're gonna, or the toolbar, and you're gonna look for the images icon. So it looks like that. So you go ahead and click on that, upload image, and then this rocket ship will appear. You can click and drag your photo file, or you can click on the rocket ship to open up your hard drive. Either case, that's how you embed it, and then you press submit, and then you'll need to resize the image because it'll be super big. So you want to resize them so that they're more manageable. And then you're going to copy and paste your 2 written reflections into your post. So remember, you're going to want to compose those in Google Docs or Microsoft Word first so you can save it, and then copy and paste it right in here. And then you'll go ahead and click the post reply button. All right. Well, if you have any questions about this, let me know. Send me a message on Canvas, email me, but we want to make sure that we do complete this exercise before we continue to actually draft our essays. So this is going to help us interrogate our essay structure in a more meaningful way. All right, y'all. Well, I'll catch you later.